right. So my Masonic journey, wanted to do a video on why I became a Freemason, how I became a Freemason, and what drove me to be, to search out, I guess, the fraternity. So I was at a restaurant. Actually, I owned the restaurant, and a guy came in all the time. His name was Roger, and he would show up with a laptop, and he would just hang out. He'd order lunch, and he'd sit there all day. And finally, one day, I went up to him and I said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" He said, "Oh, no, I'm just day trading." And Roger was cool. It was like, this was in the early 2000s, one of the only places in town that had free Wi-Fi. It was a big deal at the time. So Roger would come in and hang out and day trade. And he was older. He was probably in his 60s. And he came and said, "Hey, this is a really great place." And, we became friends after that. I noticed his ring. He had a Masonic ring, double eagle like this. And I asked him what that was about. And he said, "Oh, I'm a Freemason." I said, "Oh, really? That's cool." So I read a lot of Jim Marrs books at the time. I've read Rule by Secrecy. I read pretty much anything Jim Marrs put out, and I was a big proponent of just reading and researching and learning anything I could about the mysteries surrounding mystery schools, Freemasonry, all these other things. And all of that really stemmed from my fascination with UFOs and the unexplained, the paranormal, the esoteric. So somehow Freemasonry and UFOs and consciousness and all that stuff kind of struck a chord with me, and it all seemed to go in place. So he said that if I wanted to join, and I asked him, "What can I ask you about it?" So I asked him a lot of questions. I asked him about what they did, what they stood for, what it was like being a member, what he got out of it, and all those things. And he was very forthcoming, told me all of these things. He answered every question I had. So he asked if I wanted to get a petition to join the lodge, and I said, "Yeah, man. How do you do that?" He said, "Basically, what we do is I vouch for you, and I get two other guys that are Freemasons. They vouch for you. We sign our names, and there's a committee, and inside a lodge, they vote on a committee to come investigate you. It's an investigation committee." And I'm thinking, "Oh boy, an investigation committee." So what they did is, three guys came out from the lodge. They came to the restaurant and they hung out, and it was an opportunity for me to ask them any question I could possibly ever ask them, and they would tell me truthfully. And it was it was time for them to do the same for me as well. So they can ask me any question they want. And so we had a really good conversation. It was probably it was supposed to be for an hour, but I think we went longer than that. And we just chatted about everything. They went back, they voted on me in the lodge after their report. And I got initiated in 2008, I think, and in Fulton Lodge in Delta, Ohio, Fulton Lodge 248. And went through my first degree, my entered apprentice degree, the second degree, fellowcraft, and then after that, Master Mason degree. So I went through my degrees. I got help from the guys. I met a lot of the most amazing brothers that I would never have had an opportunity to meet normally without being a Mason. I think a lot of it is, well, maybe you would, but you could be sitting next to the county prosecutor to your right, and to the left, there's the bus driver for the local high school, and everybody treats each other equally. We're all on the level. It's really kind of why I wanted to name the channel what I did as On the Level, because it's basically symbology and an allegory for, always being on the level, always being true, treat everybody equally. Everybody's on the same footing, right? Nobody's better than you, and you're not better than anybody else. And that's just how Freemasons are. And I think a lot of that would be beneficial to the world if they did that as well. So I got into it and I loved it. It was completely different than what I thought. It was completely different from everything I read in Jim Marrs books and other places on the internet, or saw things on TV or the internet videos. And for me, it struck a chord, and it's kind of like I'd always been there, or I was welcomed back in a way that I never really left. I was always a Mason, right? Sounds weird. And I always thought that, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to just shake it all up, and I'm going to tell everybody what's going on, and I'm going to, blow this lid wide open. And once I became a Freemason, I kind of realized that it means more to you personally than it does to any of those things. It's supposed to be, it's making good men great is one of the things they say. It helps you be better as a person, and in tune, better for your community to help out, to do things for, faith, hope, charity. There's a lot of tenets of Freemasonry, but those are the best. There's other branches of Masonry too. So Blue Lodge is the first 3 degrees. Then you got the Scottish Rite, and there's a York Rite, and then there's a Shriner. So I'm a Scottish Rite Mason as well. I'm a York Rite Mason as well. I'm a Shriner. Shriners hospitals for kids, 22 hospitals that completely free for kids. From the time they're born until they're 18, you can walk in, zero money, zero insurance, and everything is taken care of, all your bills. There's a huge, huge benefit in all that. They've leaded great discoveries in burn treatments and bone and things like that. So amazing. There's 22 hospitals. I think there's 2 in Canada and 1 in Mexico as well, in that 22, but a great, great charity. So there's a lot of things that tied into my whole Masonic journey as why I became a Freemason. And a lot of the things weren't just blatantly out there. A lot of it, you got to go research, you got to go look for things. But once you know how to look and where to look and who to talk to, I think that makes it a lot easier, especially the oaths we take to each other as Masons, as brothers, goes a long way. And one of my goals is, obviously, I've already met a lot of amazing guys. A lot of my brothers are outstanding humans that I can't even possibly put. Robbie Franks is one of them. There's many, many brothers out there. And one of the things I wanted to do, honestly, with this, and that's why I talk about it all the time, is like I want to meet some more Masons that are into UFOs or into ufology, consciousness, things like that, because I think we can talk on the level that most people can't. So I'd really like to reach out to any of the brothers out there that are into ufology or consciousness or the phenomenon or however you want to call it, and get hold of me, hit me up. I'd really like to chat with you. I don't have to be on the show or anything, but it'd just be love to have a conversation with you and get to know you and share some things. So thanks for being on the journey with me. Keep asking questions, and we'll see you next time.